Welcome back to FM Storey. It's time for season 2 to begin with Milan. Having won the league title last season, it's time to back it up and hopefully even pick up another trophy. I mean, a good run in the Coppa Italia would be nice. We've done quite a bit of business in the summer transfer window. We did have a few issues with the squad over the summer, but hopefully we've got them just about fixed up. So without further ado, let's get in and have a look and see what we did. So first up, in terms of the outgoings, Florenzi retired at the end of his contract. Simone Branca, we didn't renew his contract. He's still available on a free transfer. And then we moved on quite a lot of players that were actually out on loan last season. So Salamakers was on loan at Roma. He's gone to Juventus for 10 million. Kalulu was on loan at Juventus. He's gone to Dortmund for 22.5 million. We've sold some players who were in the B team, who weren't going to get a game. And Okafor's gone out on loan to West Ham. And I think that one turns into a permanent deal at the end of the contract. In fact, the Okafor one turns into a permanent deal if he plays 20 games. We get 17 million. So hopefully he plays 20 games for West Ham this season. And then to the incomings. So starting with a couple of players that we had on loan, Kyle Walker was a bit of a no-brainer after how he performed last season. To be able to get the deal for 4 million. Yes, he's 35 now, but look at those physicals. They are still incredible. And even if he's just a first team player this season and then a bit of part player in his second season of his contract, it's worth it, I think. We'd already done the deal to complete the transfer of Ricardo Soto. We did that one in January when we sold Pulisic, because we were getting 77 million for Pulisic and we could get Soto, who was outstanding last season for us, for 8.5 million. Another deal that was already done was the deal for Massimo Pessina, young goalkeeper, that was recommended by the scouts. He's come in and gone into the under-20 squad, but he's only 17, so plenty of time for him to develop. And the same for Honest Ahano as well. Again, another one that was recommended by the scouts, only 17. He's gone into the under-20s to try and develop, and probably got on loan next season. And then the other deal that was already done was for Fabiano Parisi to come in. Pretty much a like-for-like replacement for how we used Florenzi last season. We didn't have an actual left-back that could cover Theo Hernandez, so most of the time it was Florenzi. He can also cover on a right-back as well. And just adds a bit of depth to the squad. And then obviously we had the issue with the squad from last season of, we had João Felix on loan, who did a great job, but there was no way we were going to be able to afford that transfer. Tammy Abraham was outstanding in the second half of the season, and there was no way we were going to be able to afford that transfer either. We are a bit light in the actual attacking in the Tammy Abraham area. We signed a couple of players that can play in both positions. So firstly, we picked up Simone Profundi from Udinese. Definitely more of one for the future at just 19, but he can play that number 10 role. He can play up front. Isn't really a physical threat, but I think he should develop into a decent player. And then we picked up Gaetano Oristano from Venezia after they got relegated. He got 7 goals in the league last season. He's come in. He can play anywhere in the three behind the front man. He can play in the front man if we need him to. And I think that's actually where he might start the season, because Santiago Jimenez hasn't really impressed. So we might give Oristano a start there and see how that goes. And then the final incoming was another player, a 16-year-old who had just come into the youth intake at Vitória Guimarães. There was actually a load of players that had just come in Portugal. There was a couple of outstanding players at Boavista, one of which we did look at trying to get a deal done for, but he didn't think it was the best thing in his career to move to us at this point. But we've got Agostino, central midfielder, at a push can play further forward, and hopefully that's another one that can develop in the future. looking at the season preview, we are the favourites for the title. It is pretty close with Inter, and obviously it was relatively close last season for most of the season. We do have 4 players in the Media Dream 11 in Maignan, Hernandez, Reinders, who they're showing in the defensive midfield role. He's almost certainly going to be starting in the number 10 role behind the front man, and Rafael Leao. The ideal transfer for the summer, if we could have scrounged the funds up, would have been to get Scalvini to sort of future-proof the defence, but we were never going to have enough money for that one. And so it's time for the opening day of the season. We're playing against newly promoted Salernitana. We've got a fully fit, no suspension squad to choose from, and hopefully we can get off to a decent start. And so here we go, opening day of the season. And unlike most of last season, we've been able to actually fill the bench. We've gone with what would be pretty much our strongest team for last season. A couple of changes. We've pushed Reinders forward into the number 10 role, which means that Benassa, who's come back from his loan spell, Marseille actually did trigger the option in the contract, but he turned it down. He's gone into the midfield alongside Fofana. And as we said, we're going to give Oristanio the start and see what happens. Right, Benassa with a free kick early to Sotel on the edge of the box. He's fired through a crowd of bodies. And that is about as good a start as we could have hoped for. I mean, Benassa slides it across the edge of the area. They've left him in the acres of space. He takes a touch from the edge of the D, just drills it. And we're 1-0 up. An early corner, Reinders to take it. Looks like it's going to be a deep one. It's headed clear as far as Sotil. He's put a low ball in. There's a shot at the near post by Leao. It's still alive. Leao at the back post, off the woodwork. It's still going. And Theo Hernandez, and nothing comes of it. They flicked it on. Tomori tidying up at the back. Goes back to Mike Maignan. Tomori out to Walker. Driving forward. Back to Tomori. Now Walker. Still going. Finds Soto by the byline. And there's Oristanio at the near post to get his first goal for the club. We're going to get an offside decision here. I mean, it can't be Oristanio, surely. Because he must have been well onside. It's been disallowed. Just Soto was fractionally offside. And it's still 1-0. Right. Benassa with the corner. Deep. And there's Reinders coming flying in with a header. At the back post. No one challenging him. No one on the post. And it's 2-0. He actually makes the run from the front of the box towards the back. Gets up. Powers the header past the keeper. Right, Walker with the throw. Comes back to him. Benassa to Fofana. He's knocked off the ball. Tomori steps in and wins it back brilliantly. Thiaw out to Theo Hernandez. First we've really seen of Leao in open play. Drives into the box. Shot gets deflected. The keeper gets down well at the near post to keep it out. Benassa with another corner. Into the near post this time. Tomori with a header. The keeper saves it. Thiaw fires home the rebound. But we're getting another VAR check here. Next time I think it's going to get given, yeah. So Benassa with the corner. Tomori powers the header. And it just pops up nicely off the keeper for Thiaw. And that's 3-0. Right, Benassa with another free kick. This one lifted towards the back post. Leao's gone down. And we've been given a penalty. It's going to be Theo Hernandez to step up to take it. And the keeper saved it. We need to figure out the penalties because he missed a couple last season, but obviously because we haven't set anyone. And the corner into the near post. Benassa now with it in the box. Shot's blocked. Still got it. Fofana is fouled. I mean, basically just got kicked. So as we go into injury time here, Benassa with another free kick. This time he goes for goal, and the keeper holds on to it. And there we are, half-time, 3-0 up. Thoroughly dominant performance, as it should be, against a newly promoted team. I think probably some changes at half-time to get some players some game time. And also, Soto looks like he's going to need to come off with that injury that he's picked up. Right, we've made 4 changes at half-time. We've brought Parisi on at left back, for Theo Hernandez. We brought Chukwueze on the right for Soto, who picked up that knock. Profundi's come on for Fofana, and Reinders has dropped into midfield. And we brought on Volpato for Rafael Leao on the left. Benassa into Oristanio. Profundi now making the run behind him and lifts his shot over the bar. Free kick, Reinders to the back post. Walker heads home from a very narrow angle, and we're going to get a VAR check to see whether he was offside from the free kick. I think, judging by the way the players are going back, it must be offside. Oh no, it's been given. Just the way they were going back separately into the wrong position suggests it had been disallowed. It's actually an own goal. He heads it across goal. It hits the defender and goes in. Parisi bombing forward down the left. Finds Volpato. Pulls it back, looking for Reinders on the edge of the box. They're attacking. The first time we've really seen them come forward. What a turn. What a finish. That's actually a decent goal for them. Just the way he let the ball run across his body. Turned, I think it must have been Tiao, and then fired home. And we let them break on us. They got in behind. And he just rolls him. And then just fires past the keeper. Parisi with a throw. Profundi goes back to Tiao. And Parisi, Reinders, looking for Benassa. It's been cut out though. And now they're breaking again. They've suddenly become a threat after we made those changes at half time. More ball into the near post. It actually gets cleared by Tiao. And now Volpato held it up and then found Parisi. Volpato into Reinders. And that is a wild lunge by the goal scorer. And they are down to 10 men. Parisi goes back to win it. Profundi into Reinders. Tiao to Parisi. Volpato drives to the byline. Low ball into the near post. It's cleared as far as Reinders. Benassa. What a goal that is. It just sat up nicely and he smashed it first time past the keeper. So Volpato puts the ball into the near post and they've cleared it. Reinders wins a header and he just sits up nicely on the bounce and he just whipped it into that top corner. Reinders with a corner deep and the header goes behind. And there we are, full time, 5-1. Dominant performance. We blew them away in the first half, and you have to say you would expect that against a newly promoted side. But the most important thing is we've got the campaign off to a flying start. We've made it to the beginning of October, and we've got a surprise game against Inter in the Champions League. The season started pretty well up until our last game, which was our first defeat in 20 and ended a run of 13 successive league wins. There was a little bit more action in the transfer window. Silvano Vos left to go on loan to Bari. We did have a couple of players decided they wanted to leave at the end of the transfer window in Pavlovic and Ruben Loftus-Cheek. because they weren't going to get first team football. No deals could be done on loan or permanently for either of them, so they're both still at the club. We did have some money left. So on deadline day, we've gone in and signed a centre forward because we were short in that area. We've signed Petar Ratkov from RB Salzburg, and he's not exactly set the world alight in his first few games with us, but looks like he's 22, great physicals, and hopefully he can develop as the season goes on as well. But unless we're playing Leao through the middle, we are kind of short on quality players. Jimenez hasn't really done it in last season, but he's probably going to get an extended run in the side this season to see if he can do it. Obviously, we saw the opening day of the season against Salernitana. We then followed that up with a 6-0 victory at home against Atalanta, where Jimenez did actually manage to get himself a hat-trick. We won 3-0 away at Fiorentina, 5-1 at home against Udinese before the international break. And then since the international break, we've beaten Monza 3-2, which required a late goal from Tomori to get the 3 points, with them down to 10 men. We did lose Chukwueze in that game to injury, and he's going to be out for another couple of weeks. Our first Champions League game saw us win 6-0 at home against Salzburg. And then in our most recent game against newly promoted Sassuolo, we were 2-0 down at half-time. We missed a penalty from Theo Hernandez in the 86th minute. Soto got a goal back in the 89th minute, but unfortunately we couldn't go on and push on and get a point from the game. Which means as far as the table is concerned, we are currently sat in second and level on points with Lazio, a point behind Genoa, who haven't lost yet this season. Inter are down in fourth, having picked up 2 draws in their opening 6 games, with Juve in fifth. We've scored lots of goals. We've got a plus 17 goal difference. Theo Hernandez has been outstanding. And him and Ismail Benessa, who obviously was away on loan last season, has come back in and made the central midfield spot his own, right at the top of the assists ratings. As far as the Champions League is concerned, we've got a bit of a mixed bag of games. Obviously, we started with that game against Salzburg that we won 6-0. We've then got away games against Inter and Dortmund, followed by home games against Antwerp, Arsenal and Bayern. And then we finish with away games against Rangers and Valencia. So I think obviously the real test is going to be in 4 of the next 5 games, with the away games against Inter and Dortmund and the home games against Arsenal and Bayern. And we go into the game with obviously a few players that don't want to be at the club unregistered. Chukwueze is definitely going to be out. He failed a fitness test for that last game against Sassuolo, so I suspect he's not going to even be able to make the bench for this one. And they're missing DeMarco with a broken leg, but otherwise they seem to have everyone available. So I think it's going to be a tough test. So this is the side we've gone with for the game against Inter. It's pretty much what our strongest team would have been last season, but with the addition of Benassa in midfield and with Jimenez through the middle. So we're going 4-2-3-1. They're basically going 5-2-3, I guess you would call that. Right, free kick for them. Çalhanoğlu into the box. And Lautaro Martinez gets his head on it. Thankfully for us, he was underneath it and it goes over the top. Right, Walker with the throw. Picks it up again. Mori into Benassa. He's lost it. He gets back to win it, and now Theo Hernandez on the left goes past his man. Leao now, back to Hernandez. Varna into Benassa. Leao finds Reinders in the box, and he must be offside. I mean, we're going to get a VAR check, but he looked well offside. But given that we've got a highlight, it must have been given. So Fofana goes in to Benassa. Leao then plays it into Reinders. So it's the left back that's playing them all on. And we've got the opening goal. Benassa with it in midfield to Walker on the right. Looking to go all the way around the outside. Driving towards the byline, low ball in. And the keeper turns it behind when it really should have been given no chance. But Reinders with a corner in swinger. Well, he's actually pulled back to the edge of the area, which is bizarre given that's not in our list of set pieces. But from the throw, Theo Hernandez, the Reinders, Fofana, into Jimenez, swings it out to the right to Walker. He goes around, finds Sotel in the box, lifts it to the back post, headed away from Leao. Hernandez squares it, Reinders in front of the keeper, gets his second goal of the game, and puts us in a commanding position before we even got to 15 minutes. Sotel lifts it, it's headed away from Leao, and then Theo Hernandez shifts it, plays it into the near post, and Reinders is the only one there. And there we are, half time, 2-0 up. Apart from that early header for Martinez, we've not seen them as an attacking threat in any of the highlights. We've had 8 shots, 7 of them on target with Testin, Sommer, and we've got 2 goals to show for it as well. We've made one change at half time. Sotel didn't have the best of first half, so Profundi's come on that right hand side. Right, they've cleared it from the middle of the 6-yard box. Theo Hernandez to Fofana, back to Thiaw. Theo Hernandez back to Thiaw. Ball down the side for Hernandez. Goes back to the centre half under pressure. He finds Fofana. Benassa with the shot on his left foot, and he just got under it a bit and didn't bend it enough either. We made a further 2 changes. Benassa was struggling a bit for fitness, so Bebega's come on in midfield. Another one's come back from being on loan last season, and Ratkov's come on up front instead of Jimenez. Now Fofana out to Leao. Infield finds Ratkov, who helps it onto Reinders. Gets into the box, beats the keeper. Some soft tackling from them there, but Reinders has gone all the way through, completed his hat-trick, and we're 3-0 up against Inter as an away team. It was a nice, Rakov poked it on, and Reinders, no one wanted to actually make a challenge on him. Slaloms through, beats the keeper for 3-0. Right, so we made our final 2 changes. We brought Colombo on for Reinders and put Profundi in the number 10 role, and we brought Oristanio on for a tiring Leao and put Ratkov out to the left hand side. They're attacking on the left, ball into the box at the back post. Great cross, great header, badly defended by us, and it looks like they pulled a goal back. We'll see what VAR has to say for it. And we've got away with one there. It's been disallowed. Whips a great cross in, and Martinez has just sneaked the wrong side of Thiaw. Does well to get a header in, but doesn't count for anything. Now Profundi with the free kick to the back post. Headed clear as far as Pabega. He lifts it to the back post himself, and then Ratkov heads over. There we are. Full time, 3-0. Dominant performance against our biggest rivals, and another 3 points in the Champions League. And there we are. That's been a pretty decent start to season 2 with Milan. Obviously, that defeat against the Sassuolo in the league against a newly promoted side is a bit of a blow, but we've won every other game. We've beaten Inter in the Champions League already. Hopefully, things can continue on like that in the next episode. Coming up, we do have some big games, certainly in the league. We've got Roma, Napoli, Juventus, and Genoa, who are currently top of the table, having not lost a game. We've also got games in the Champions League against Dortmund and Arsenal. So hopefully, like I say, we can continue this decent start of the season on in that episode. It's going to be tough. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.